I would say Benavidez, but he's too, you know, that weight class is too high for him. So, you know, where he's at now is great.
Over to David. Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo.
Nah, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175.
And Terence Crawford.
No,
man.
man.
No, I ain't doing that fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts?
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts.
After the fight, Brian Bomac McIntyre stirred some controversy when he was questioned about Turki Alalshikh suggesting a future bout between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. McIntyre quickly dismissed the idea, making it clear that Crawford doesn't need to take on that kind of fight.
We'll sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
Honest?
And he don't want it.
He also told fans that a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis wouldn't really benefit Saul Canelo Alvarez, explaining that Terence Crawford is on a completely different level compared to Ennis.
Performance prove about the Ennis sparring. You guys were largely
I told you it don't make
it.
no difference. Didn't I say it?
You know,
I said that don't mean shit. I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah.
I said that, didn't I?
Yeah,
In one of those interviews, I said that. Don't mean shit. Because he's no Bud Crawford. I'm not taking nothing from Ennis, you know, Bozy, them over there, them my guys. Shit, but bringing in that, which is good for Canelo, but it didn't do no good to Ennis.
The whole David Benavidez situation started when Turki Alalshikh, a key figure in Saudi boxing, posted on social media just hours after Terence Crawford's big win, congratulating him for making history by becoming undisputed in 3 weight divisions and also thanking Saul Canelo Alvarez for putting on a great fight. Then, hinting at what could come next. He raised a question that got fans talking by asking if David Benavidez could still make the required weight, which sparked rumors about a possible fight between Crawford and Benavidez. But Greg Hackett responded by saying these talks didn't seem like a fair or final decision and looked more driven by money and attention, adding that Crawford doesn't need Benavidez to prove anything and that cutting extra weight again could be physically tough and harmful for Benavidez.
And they think the money is going to keep getting him out there. That fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs a Benavidez. And then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at one side.
Greg Hackett then explained that the rumored back and forth between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez was mostly hype rather than something real, saying that Turki Alalshikh was likely using the situation to highlight his promotional power, although he admitted that these kinds of matchups can still be exciting when they're genuine and not just for show.
Benavidez had some tough tasks in front of him that he want to conquer before even talking like that. I don't even think he want to talk like that because there's really no point. He wanted the Canelo fight because Canelo was the man at 68 and he was at 68. I don't think he cared about fighting Bud, and I don't think Bud cared about fighting Benavidez. That's just Turkey trying to pull around.
One big question fans kept asking was whether Terence Crawford could successfully move up to a higher weight class, and while many experts claimed he was already a 4-division world champion, that wasn't entirely accurate. Meanwhile, boxing commentator and YouTuber Showbiz the Adult often questioned if Crawford's record truly deserved all the praise, as some critics have long argued that he hasn't faced enough elite opponents or fully proven himself at the very top level.
Is top 4 greatest fighters of all time. Do you understand how improbable this is? I thought Bud had no chance. I lost 20 grand. Not only is Terence Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, like I've said, if he were to win, because the probability of him winning against all the odds, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see how.
The narrative often overlooked the positive side of this historic fight, where Terence Crawford delivered such a powerful performance that even his strongest critics had to rethink their views, while one of the sport's biggest names appeared worn down and out of shape. In the hours after the bout, Showbiz the Adult even captured this shift on video, making sure fans could clearly see the impact and wouldn't forget it.
That guy, he can face anybody in history and be a problem. Him right there. Not only that, I think this cements the fact that everybody avoided him. This right here answers everything. Not only is Terence Bud Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, but everybody avoided him. And that sheds more light on how he beat.
To make history, Terence Crawford became the first male fighter to hold all 4 major belts across 3 different weight classes, moving up in divisions and winning every title along the way, a record no one else has matched. So even if he isn't officially a 4-division undisputed champion, his achievements still set him apart. After losing by decision, Saul Canelo Alvarez surprised many at the press conference by openly giving Crawford credit, admitting he was the better fighter instead of dodging the question.
And contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Veteran boxing journalist Dan Rafael shared his thoughts on the fight between Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez, saying that what stood out most to him was how Crawford took full control in the later rounds, even though he believed Canelo had the edge early in the fight.
I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was...
Dan Rafael further backed Terence Crawford by stressing how significant the win was historically, explaining that Crawford had long wanted this fight and worked hard to make it happen even when others doubted it, adding that he rarely got chances to face naturally bigger opponents because many people believed such matchups weren't realistic.
He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument that he's the greatest Mexican of all time, even more than Chavez. That said, he is in decline. He's been in decline for the last few years. He hasn't been what we've seen him at his best since he beat Caleb Plant, that Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Sanders time frame. And, even though he's winning fights, the knockouts haven't happened. He's gotten tired in the later part of the fights, and it's just common. It's the oldest saying in boxing.
A well-known boxing reporter and ringside commentator Sean Zittel spoke about how much Terence Crawford's fame has grown since his win over Saul Canelo Alvarez, saying he has always considered Crawford a top-level fighter and even ranked him as the best pound-for-pound boxer, but still felt he had not fully placed him in the same all-time great category as some of the sport's biggest legends.
#1 pound for pound back in 2017. I always acknowledged him as the best counterpuncher in the game, one of the great counterpunchers. But I didn't see him as Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. I didn't see him as that. I saw him as the tier of greats right below that. Oscar, Shane, Mike McCallum, guys like that. And it turns out, no, he's with the best.
Sean Zittel also pointed out some criticism of Terence Crawford's technical approach in the fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez, but he still acknowledged Crawford's ability to handle power comfortably and show impressive durability at this weight level. He added that Canelo lost his rhythm as the fight went on, while Crawford used a strong jab early in the 3rd and 4th rounds to take control and gradually dominate the rest of the bout.
Effect on Crawford, I know Crawford felt it, but he had good punch resistance. He came up in weight beautifully. And then as time went on, his jab and his length, it's around that 3rd and 4th round really started to give Canelo fits. And then #1, his bread and butter, his gift. Yes, he's got great tactics, great distance control, efficient footwork. He doesn't, and he took the air out of the ball when he wanted to in this.
It was already expected that Saul Canelo Alvarez would try to use his size, experience, and strength to his advantage going into the fight, as he has been a champion before and knows how to handle pressure at the highest level, especially at super middleweight. After his loss to Terence Crawford, Canelo spoke to fans on Instagram and didn't make excuses, instead accepting the defeat calmly and reflecting on his journey, thanking his team, family, and friends for their support and sacrifices, and expressing pride in everything he has achieved while saying he is ready to learn and move forward, also giving special appreciation to his wife, Fernanda, for standing by him through the tough moments. Meanwhile, Crawford also made headlines after the fight when he showed a more emotional and defensive side at a press conference, responding sharply to criticism and confronting reporters who had questioned him, making it clear that this fight was about more than just boxing, as it also challenged the long-running doubts the media had about him.
3-time undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era, and you became the 2nd undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only 1 champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that?
Terence Crawford reacted strongly at the press conference, pointing out that for years boxing experts and reporters had labeled him as uninteresting, said he couldn't draw big crowds, and even dismissed him as a nobody. But now that he is performing on the biggest stage in the sport, he has proven those critics wrong in a big way and shown that their past claims about him were completely off.
All of it. It all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have, you just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, anybody can be a nobody, like I said, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies.
So what can they say now?
When Saul Canelo Alvarez stepped in to defend his title, everything was at stake. Not just the belts, but also his reputation and status as a top fighter, because a loss would mean losing his top position in the sport and much of the fame that came with it. In the end, Terence Crawford won by unanimous decision, taking the victory and leaving Canelo without his titles, which changed how many people view his place in boxing history, while cruiserweight world champion Jai Opetaia quickly reacted. After the fight, showing respect for Crawford and saying he felt the win was clear and deserved.
Like, what a technician.
Are you shocked or not?
Not at all. Not at all. That's how I pictured the fight going. So I pictured the fight going that way. Man, impressive. You know what I mean? Coming up from all those weight divisions. Hit and don't get hit. That's the aim of the game.
Yeah.
Puts him differently in their list, but he's in everyone's list. You know what I mean? He's deserved his respect. He's one of the greats. And that Crawford name, that last name, that's written down in history. So, good on.
He then spoke about the rising reputation of Terence Crawford, saying that even though it is still a recent development, the Nebraska fighter's name is now being placed among the all-time greats of the sport. Jai Opetaia added that Crawford has earned strong respect across the boxing world, and his name is now firmly becoming part of boxing history.
I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. You know, he tried his best. You know, he always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. Yeah, I mean, it was a situation where he's, Terence Crawford's a tactician, and he throws combinations and he moves, and then, if you try and exchange with him, he's gone already. So you got to be fast.
It was always going to be very difficult to beat Saul Canelo Alvarez unless power played a major role in the fight, and early exchanges showed that clean body shots and close-range pressure could still trouble him. When former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis was asked about the surprise result against Terence Crawford, he said he enjoyed the fight overall but felt Canelo didn't do enough, expecting him to throw more punches and keep a higher pace, especially since he has often struggled against more fluid and mobile fighters like Crawford.
About many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. Anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him. For Canelo to win a round, I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and, never got hit. And threw combinations, because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was.
This is what Lennox Lewis said after Saul Canelo Alvarez lost to Terence Crawford. He explained that he had seen Canelo fight many times before and that this performance was similar to his usual style, but Crawford's approach required much more aggression and adjustment. Lewis added that Canelo struggled to assert himself because Crawford's defense and quick reactions made it hard for him to land clean punches or take full control of the fight.
It's the morning after the big fight. Crawford Canelo. Shout outs to Crawford. You did it, boy. You did it. For those who still aren't quite sure what they witnessed last night, I'm going to let you know that you witnessed what is called a notorious boxing clinic. This is everything.
Most viewers believed that Terence Crawford won the fight not because of strength, but because of his speed, timing, and sharp boxing intelligence, as he consistently made Saul Canelo Alvarez miss and put him in uncomfortable positions that shifted the momentum in Crawford's favor. While Canelo did land some heavy shots when he got close, too many of his attempts failed to connect cleanly, and Crawford stayed composed from start to finish. Former unified welterweight champion Keith Thurman also praised Crawford's performance, calling it a masterclass in boxing that showcased elite fundamentals, timing, and calmness at the highest level, especially at super middleweight, where many did not expect him to handle Canelo's power and pace so well while controlling the entire fight.
Hit and don't get hit. That's boxing 101, people. It's actually the definition of boxing. For those who don't know the definition of boxing, it's to hit and not get hit. It's almost like a game of tag, to simplify it for you folks, all right? And yes, Crawford was tagging him, not just with the jab, moving, but he was able to do another key fact.
Terence Crawford's victory didn't just change who held the belts, it also reshaped the story of the super middleweight division, while putting new pressure on the future of Saul Canelo Alvarez, who has spent decades in the sport and may now be at a turning point in his career depending on whether he moves forward, changes weight classes, or tries to come back stronger. The defeat forces him to accept that a fast, skillful, and unbeaten opponent beat him on one of boxing's biggest stages. Before the fight, Crawford was asked about Canelo's well-known punching power at super middleweight, and he stayed confident, saying he had faced strong opponents before and was prepared for the challenge. Meanwhile, former champion Timothy Bradley Jr. said the fight carried huge weight for Canelo's legacy, explaining that the result had major impact on his reputation, while also noting that if Crawford had lost after moving up through multiple weight divisions, it would have seriously damaged his standing as a top-level challenger.
His power, like, have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a
In
sparring.
a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo, to me. To be honest.
Terence Crawford didn't just win a fight. He made history despite the doubts around him, as he defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez and showed that greatness is not defined by weight classes but by skill and determination. Boxing, known as the sweet science, once again proved why it is so respected, with skill, heart, and legacy all on full display, and many fans now believe Crawford's place among the all-time greats is firmly secured.